Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Mysticall, and today I saw this comment asking about my add-ons. I figured it's been quite a while since I've done an add-on video and actually used one new add-on. So I figured I would make a video for it. Hopefully, we're just gonna jump right into it, talk about each add-on. Now, I want to make sure that not only do I talk about the add-on and what I've changed, but I want to make sure you guys are comfortable making changes to the add-on as well, because I mean, most of these add-ons are for your UI, and that's what makes it so fun, is you can pretty much make as many changes as you want and make it your own. And yeah, I'm just going to go through all the settings I go through, what I've changed, what it does, and that's pretty much it. Let's jump right into it. The first add-on that I use for PvP is AdvancedInterfaceOptions. Now what this does is there was a change from WoD to Legion that removed some of the settings from the game settings, and what this add-on does is it brings some of them back. I don't use many of the settings that are in here. Nameplate distance is actually a pretty good one. What I primarily use it for is for floating combat text and for my camera distance. So I get this question a lot, like how do I zoom out so much? It's this add-on right here. You could also use a script. I think it's just set cvar open parentheses and then in quotation marks set it to 2.6. But this makes it really easy. So you just, I think by default it's it says the default is 1.9. You could change it to 2.6, and what it does, let's see if I can remember the keybind. I kind of forget it. No. Key bindings, camera, zoom out should be home, and man, it's not working, but that's all right. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I was just awkward camera angle. So you can see I'm zooming in, and this is probably the default, and then if you set it to max, here we go, and this is what max is. I get this question a lot, how do I set it? And it's just through this add-on. Really solid, so it's so easy. And then what I also do is floating combat text, and what I use for it is making the size of my healing really small or really big. I kind of like the Wrath of the Lich King style healing where the numbers are huge. I remember playing my Resto Druid, and the healing green numbers were huge. It's what got me drawn into healing. So yeah, I just make it a little bigger. I'm sure there's the default is 1. I double it to 2. Anything larger than 2 though kind of obscures your obscures your viewer a little bit. Makes it kind of hard to see any incoming crowd control or anything because the numbers are so big. So I just set it to 2. And that's Advanced Interface Options. The next add-on that I use is Arena Team Tracker. For some reason, it's not showing up for me, but what it does, or how I have it, is it's set up right to the side here, and it shows what cooldowns are available for my teammates. It shows them when they've used them and when they haven't. I like seeing them all the time. There is this option that lets you hide them when they're on cooldown. I don't personally like that. I like seeing all the cooldowns there, whether they're used or not. Now as far as settings for in here, I don't really use much. For Arena, I just want to see when it's in Arena. When I join a raid, I don't want to see 40 people and their cooldowns. Maybe for dungeons it's really useful, but I don't really do too competitively, so I really don't track them. And yeah, I like showing the PvP trinket. I have it locked, and it's anchored to my Arena frames, which is really good. So no matter if I move this right here, if I move my these bars right here, it's going to stay attached to the side, which I really like. I don't like having to move them consistently. The scale is at 0.72. Oh, attached to raid frames right here. Not lock, attached to raid frames right here. You can have them glow. I don't like really having them glow. I do have 2 rows though. I don't like having the middle of my screen too cluttered, because as a healer and DPS, you need to be aware of what's going on in front of you. So I just have 2 rows of abilities that are shown, and that's pretty much it. I didn't add any abilities here. These are all normal. I think they have most abilities there. It's really good. Oh, I did add War Banner. That's the only one I did add. This one is custom. I added War Banner. But outside of that, that's the only one I've added. Also, these extras I have checked. I want dampening shows up here, and I want to see safeguard maledict trinkets. And it shows a little maledict alert. It's like red. It shows incoming, and I really like it. This is a very useful add-on for healers and DPS, so I would highly recommend this add-on. The next add-on, I can't show you personally. Actually, I could if you want me to. It's called BestPvPScripts. I actually I wrote this add-on. I didn't do much, but what it does is I have a few scripts. So I got questions a lot about the scripts that I use, or like how I get certain things in place. And it is these three scripts right here. All I did was put them into an add-on. And what it does is just loads when you log in or reload. So one add-on is it puts you on the bottom. So you can see I'm on the bottom right now. And then if I had 2 players, you could see I was on the bottom of all 3. And then you have Arena 1, Arena 2. That's just how I like to heal. You could disable that if you want to. If you just go into the Lua file and delete it, it's fine. The other one is I have the weather density set to 0 for Tiger's Peak and for Blade's Edge Arena. I lag a lot. I don't know why. But the orange in Blade's Edge Arena and the snow in Tiger's Peak both made me lag heavily. So I just lower that to 0. This is Mystic 123. So what this does is it changes the nameplates of the arena enemy team from their names to their arena party frame. So if they were enemy arena 1, it would be 1. If they were arena enemy 2, they'd be 2. And if they were 3, it would be 3. This is really useful if you're using arena 123 macros like I do. I have them hidden right now, but I have arena 123 macros for my disarm and for my paralysis. And it's really useful because sometimes I kind of forget my keybinds, but then I remember, I take a look, R2, okay, I just Alt2, Alt6, So yeah, that's a really good add-on. It just loads a bunch of scripts. If you don't want to mess with scripts, you don't have to at all download the add-on. The next add-on is actually my personal favorite add-on. It is BigDebuffs. This is really good for DPS and healers. Now, I didn't make too many changes in here. What I have is, all I did was change some sizing because I'm like blind without these things. Even with them on, I'm blind. So I made them a little bigger. So what I did is I enabled BigDebuffs on raid frames. And then I have, when there's a big debuff, like a Psychic Horror or Kidney Shot, I have it so it hides the other debuffs and it just shows the big debuff. It just makes it easier for me as a healer to heal. If you're playing in DPS, you might be better off seeing all the debuffs to see, okay, your teammate got kidneyed and, I don't know, there's a concentrated flame on them, so obviously I'm swapping. I added the cooldown countdown, just because, and then I really didn't change anything else. It's anchored to the left. You could have it anchored to inner. You could have it anchored to the right, but because I have my arena team tracker to the right, I have it anchored to the left. And then max debuffs is 15. Again, as a healer, I feel like it's kind of useful to know what debuffs are on your teammates. You, as a DPS, probably not that important. You could probably change this to like 5. I think the default is 5, so you could see 1 it shows, and I just like having the information there, and then the biggest changes I've made are to the sizes. That's pretty much it. I don't want to change anything because I know I'll forget, but dispel with CC, which is what as a healer is probably most important, I have it the biggest. So if it's a Psychic Horror, if it's a Fear, if it's a Root, if it's something like a dot or something that I can dispel, I can see that and dispel it instantly. Other CC, as in, others that you can't really crowd control, you see Kidney Shot, I can't dispel that, but it's still nice to see. Dispellable PvE, I'm really not sure. Dispellable Root, I have short, or smaller, which is right here. I don't really, entangling roots and probably survival hunter root, it's really not that big a deal for me. Interrupts, kind of important, so the interrupts show up over here, and then these warning debuffs. I'm not really sure really what the other debuffs means, but the warning debuffs are like Smoke Bomb, Solar Beam, UA, and Vampiric Touch. All stuff that you really should be aware of because you kind of want to dispel UA and Vampiric Touch, even though you don't see a lot of Affliction Warlocks. It's still good to have. And then the extras, hide in raid. I don't want to see everybody's debuff in a raid, so I just hide it in groups smaller than 5. So I see it in dungeons, but anything higher than dungeons I don't really care about. And then that's pretty much it. You don't need to change anything else in here. Jordan did an exceptional job with this add-on. I haven't had to add any spells, nothing at all. It's perfect. So I highly recommend for all classes BigDebuffs. So this is a new add-on I've been playing around with. I have not made any changes to this add-on. It's called CastAnnouncer. What it does is it shows what spells are being casted on certain people. So if you disable these and target you, you could see what casts are being targeted on you. I have not changed much of this, if at all. So this is new to me. Hopefully, if there are people who know this add-on, they see any settings that I could change, it'd be awesome. From what I've used though, spells are perfect. Whoever made it, what is it, Collective, made perfect. It's great. I haven't changed any of the settings. What this does is it just, it just shows what spells being cast. It's really good for healers. This really isn't a DPS add-on. This is really good for healers that it's easy to track. Iron Bark, Disperse, all these defensive cooldowns and offensive cooldowns like Dark Soul, Void Form, Avatar, Storm, Earth, and Fire, abilities like that. It's just really, really good. So this just helps me visually see what cooldowns are going on, because, as many people can probably relate, as a healer, it can get a little hectic. You're tracking debuffs, you're tracking CC on you, you're tracking your own cooldowns. Sometimes some cooldowns, they slip by. So this one, visually, right in the middle of your screen, really nice. It's CastAnnouncer, and you just do /CA, boom, and it brings up the settings for it. I'm probably going to mess around with this add-on a little more. I kind of like, I'm probably going to mess around with these. And if I ever do, I'll probably make an update video just for this. Kind of hoping this is the last video I make of add-ons, because right now I really like my UI and I really like the add-ons we use. Anyway, yes, that is CastAnnouncer. The next question I get, it's really more towards my UI, but first of all, I use Dominos for my bars. I have an entire video that shows how to set this up exactly how I have it. So, I'll probably put a link to that in the description, but this is Dominos, and then Easy Frames is right here. Like my character, my target, stuff like that. I get that question a lot. So yeah, that is Easy Frames. The next add-on that you can't see because I'm not in Arena, but it's called NamePlateCooldowns. Let me just go to it right here. NamePlateCooldowns. I have not made any changes to this add-on. You can download it and just straight start using it. I have not made a single change. What it does is when an enemy uses a cooldown, it tracks it on their nameplate. I prefer this over Omnibar, which a lot of people like Omnibar. I use Omnibar for interrupts, but when it comes to cooldowns, as a healer, I like looking up here, in the middle of my screen to see what cooldowns are up. I'd rather not look down, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's the reason I like it, and it's accurate, it's nice, it tracks cooldowns I need. It's not too cluttered, which is really nice. If it was too cluttered, I'd probably start getting used to Omnibar, but it doesn't clutter my screen at all, and it tracks every cooldown you could ever need. So that is NamePlateCooldowns. Highly recommend it for mostly healers. DPS can too, but really good for healers. Speaking of Omnibar, we have Omnibar. So I have 3 different bars. I don't use the cooldowns one. If you want to, so I have 3 different bars. This tracks cooldowns. I don't really use it. I have one for interrupts, which I use every game, and I have a second one, or my third one is for dispels. So I don't really use a cooldown one. Again, I use NamePlateCooldowns to track cooldowns, so it's not that, I don't really use it that much. Now the interrupt one is very important, I feel. I think you need to track interrupts as a healer. You definitely need to. And then the third one, I would recommend all people, or all players, use the dispel one. This is really good for tracking the cooldowns. Now these had to be custom. These are custom strings that I had to put in. You had to put them, someone on World PvP subreddit helped me out with this. Fried Kitty, I think he was in the AWC tournament. I believe that was him in the AWC tournament, and he helped me out. He helped me add some strings to my Lua file. I can help with that if you guys want me to. So as I was just saying, if you wanted to add custom spells to your bars, like if you wanted to make a dispel bar, like how I do right here, just to track, this is useful for Maledicts, for Crucible Flame, or the Concentrated Flame, so the enemy healer can't dispel. You just come to custom spells right here, and you have to add the spell ID, and then add the duration. All of these are 8 seconds. The cooldown is 8 seconds. That's what duration means. And you just click which spec, and it's going to be the healing spec for all of these pretty much. So yeah, that's pretty much how you add a custom spell. You can do it for pretty much any other ability, but I think pretty much most of the other spells are there, so you really shouldn't have to, but you're going to have to do it for the dispels. Outside of that, Omnibar, absolutely mandatory PvP talent for PvP healers and DPS. The next one that we have is Quartz. Now Quartz is just a casting bar. If you want to see, it's what I use. It's just my casting bar. But you can move them around, which is what makes them really, really useful. So if you just do /Quartz, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Scroll down here and you can see you can have profiles, player, target, focus. I have one for target, focus, and player, and that's pretty much all. I haven't really changed many settings in here though. There's nothing I really need to change. The biggest thing I've done is maybe for myself, I've added a bit of a height and a bit of a width. My width is 250. I really don't know what the default is, but you can really set that up to whatever you're comfortable with. It doesn't matter what the size is, as long as it's comfortable for you and as long as it's not, you know, stopping you from seeing the middle of your screen, you should be fine no matter what. So probably the most important one is my arena frames, and that is, I use sArena for that. That is what these bars are. I highly recommend sArena. Another one is Gladius. Both are really solid choices. I prefer sArena. I've preferred it for a long time. Not for anything specific. I think Gladius is kind of too bulky for me. I like the classic arena style frames. If you want some customization, you can come up to this top left corner and you can just switch between Blizz Arena, Blizz Target. You have the Tourney, which I think is really cool. And then you have, I guess, Zaryu made one, which is also pretty neat. It's not bad. I like the classic Blizz style. That is my favorite. Now, as far as changes to this, I made the DRs bigger and I made the trinkets bigger, mostly because for me as a healer, I care about trinkets, so I know when to interrupt or when to CC. I care about the cast bars because, you know, I want to know if there's a polymorph incoming, and I care about the DRs and the trinket. So those are pretty much it. These are the sizes I use for the diminishing returns. I don't make them too big. Again, I try not to make them too big. I don't want them to overlap. I don't want it to look cluttered. I want it to look clean, nice. I want it to be readable. So if I quickly glance over here, I can see if there's a casting coming. I can see if there's a polymorph or if someone's on poly DR or stun DR. I can see that very quickly. Cast bars, they're probably a bit wider than probably what they normally are, mostly because as a healer, I care about crowd control being casted on me. Trinkets, again, very important. Yeah, and then something, you can move them by using Control-Shift-Click. So Control-Shift, you can drag these around and everything follows, which is really cool. So no matter wherever I put it on this arena one, all these follow. You can see it's really, really cool. You can see them all adjust based on where I put that first one. It's really neat, really good. Makes it really easy to customize. And then spec frames, I would just keep the same size. I don't think I've changed these. I don't really care about these too much. And yeah, the only thing I probably changed out here when I set all this up is the scaling. So when I have everything in place, you could scale it to be as big as you want or as small as you want. I have it set at 170. 180 might even be pretty good. Like 170 though. 170 is nice. You know, I don't want to, you know, make it hard for me to see the middle of my screen because, again, that affects your awareness and you need to be very aware when you're playing Arena. So one of the last add-ons I'm going to be showing you is TellMeWhen. Now, I just want to say this is a whole new add-on for me. I literally downloaded this add-on maybe a week or so ago. So there's a lot that you can do in here, trust me. But I don't use it for much, but there's a lot you can do in here. So what I do with this add-on is I track DRs on my teammates. If I clean this up a little bit, if I just move this right like here, you could see what I have. So if I was in Arena, what you'd be able to see is you'd see my teammates' cooldowns, their debuffs, and then what DR they're on. So have they been stunned? Have they been polyed? Have they been rooted? Have they been slowed? Have they been silenced? Have they been disarmed? That's what this add-on is for. Now, I'm not very comfortable with this add-on, but I can still show you what I did to make these. Actually, I'm pretty sure I can export these, so I could probably just paste bin and just export these. I'll find, oh, here we go, export. There we go. I can export what I have for you guys if you want to. But if you want to make it, what I do is I right-click, I check diminishing return, and then in here I just type in DR, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have 6. But obviously you don't care really about taunt. I also don't really care about roots too much. I care about disorients, incaps, which is like polys. Disorient is like a blind. Silence is obviously silence or garrote. And then stuns are, stuns. You could see the whole list right there of stuns that it's affected by. So this one I believe is disorient. And who do I watch it on? I want to watch it on party 2, which is, party 2. You have party 1, you have party 2, and you have yourself. So that's who I have it watching. And that's pretty much it. I have undiminished down to hidden. So it gets hidden when there's no DR, and when there is a DR, I have it set to 100. You could fade it a little bit if you want to. I think it should show up. Maybe it's not. That's fine. But yeah, this sets the opacity of it when there is a DR. I would just set to 100, and then I show timer and show timer text. So this shows how much longer left your teammate is disarmed or DR'd. And yeah, I do that for all of them. Yeah, so you have to set up for all of them, but they make it really easy. You can drag and drop these. You can hold right click and drag and drop, and you can move it. You could copy. If you want to, I had a hard time with this. If you want to make the groups bigger. Oh no, I'm gonna have a hard time now. Icon. Yeah, here we go. If you want to have more than 4, so let's say you wanted to add a 5th for the roots, all you have to do is add a fifth column, and you get the 5th one right there. There's so much going on. There's so much I have to pay attention to. I'm not gonna track roots or taunts. So yeah, that's TellMeWhen. Again, there's a lot that you can do with this add-on. There's a lot that I don't do with this add-on, but for right now, it does its job. So again, you just add another bar, and then you set this one up to show. So this is party 2, party 2, party 2, party 2 right here. Party 1, party 1, party 1, party 1, because I just copied it down there. And then this should be player, which is yourself. So you can show DRs for yourself. Overall, amazing add-on. I love it. I really like how easy this is to see visually. I like how there's a timer. So yeah, that's TellMeWhen. Really good. It's probably not really useful for DPS, but for healers that want to know when your teammates are going to be off stun DR or off poly DR, it's very useful. And the final add-on that I use, it is called Weakauras. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. What it does is it can do a lot of things, but I only do it for a few things. So hopefully some of you are familiar with it. If you're not, we can make a quick Weakaura real quick, no biggie. This one is an imported maledict script or a maledict string. So what it does is you can just go down new, import, and you can just import a string. I have all of these strings in a paste bin. If you go into my description, go to the paste bin, all of these Weakauras are there, every single one. And what Weakauras does is for me personally, it tracks a buff that I have, and it just shows me. So if you see them all, this one right here is Conflict and Strife. So if I'm using Conflict and Strife Major, and it just tracks the 8 buffs I have, it just lets me know I have all my, my Strife buffs. All that versatility is really good. Important one is probably, Manatee, really important. This shows when Manatee is active. So if I get out of here and I press Manatee, boom, it shows how much of the duration is left of Manatee, which is really good. If I'm playing Way of the Crane and I press Crane, boom, it's going to show me Way of the Crane right here. It's going to show how much time is left. And now that I mention it, I should probably get rid of the glow on the other one, on the Manatee. Let's get rid of the glow. Let's get no glow, so now it's easier to see the text. This one is Fortifying Brew. Kind of important, I feel. It's nice to know when you have Fortifying Brew up. This one is Zen Focus Tea. These blue, this one is Zen Focus Tea. I can actually make this a little cleaner if I just make this a little smaller, bring this down. Boom. I could probably, the opacity is probably, the alpha. Yeah, we can make this like super blue. No rotation, nothing. That's crazy. We kind of want to, there we go. We can make it like this. It's nice. So let's just pick an ability and let's just make a Weakaura real quick just to show you guys. Let me see a buff that we have. Let me see. Tiger's Lust. So let's say you're playing, I know not a lot of people are playing Tiger's Lust probably. So let's say you're running Chi Torpedo. What's the buff you get from Chi Torpedo? Chi Torpedo. Okay. So how I got to the screen is you do -WA, which brings up weak order, and you go to new, you go to icon. You can also make progress bar. That'll do a countdown. I kind of like icons though, and we just type in cheat torpedo. There we go. And then you go to trigger, and triggers are what is weak order is trying to look for to give you this icon. So you're going to give it the name, and it's going to just be cheat torpedo, and it comes up with this. It's perfect, nice. And you go to display, and what does it do? Oh, I think it's tracking. Let me see. Debuff name. No, this should be, yeah, this should be fine. Name cheat torpedo. Oh, Orin. Yeah. This should be okay. Display, and we got this. We got cheat torpedo, and we're just gonna. I mean, this should be fine. So now, if we roll, it's gonna show here we have 1 stack of it. If we roll again, it shows 2 stacks. Now, if you want to show the duration on that, you would just show the cooldown on it. So you go to display, and you just come down here. You can show the cooldown. You can show the inverse of it, so it goes the other way. That's fine too. You could hide it. So you do that, but I like showing it. And then you can have it glow. Again, I don't really like the glow that much. And then this is just positioning. I don't really know much. And then this is text. I really haven't messed around with the text. You could have it not show any text at all, which is fine. Or you can have it show text. I don't really mess around with the text or the add elements or the position. I just really just drag it around. If you hit this eye right here, it shows all of them. And I just mess around and just put it here. So now you should see you have your cheat torpedo, your increased movement speed. It shows the cooldown on it, which is actually kind of neat. So now you can see, okay, let me get the second stack going. There you go. And that's pretty much weak order is pretty for you. I like it. It's really good. Again, between TellMeWhen and weak orders, I could probably do all of this with those 2 add-ons. They can do a lot. They're very powerful add-ons. But so you can see Manatee has no glow, crane, boom, big damage. But I kind of like, having a different add-on for different, different things. And you can see I have 1 stack of conflict and strife here. Overall, it's just a really solid add-on. And that is all of my add-ons. Not only are those my add-ons, but these are probably the most important add-ons to have for PvP, especially in BFA. I don't know if there's any overlap between Classic and BFA, but if there are, I would highly recommend these add-ons for Classic as well. And that is pretty much it. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. I am happy to answer them. And with that said, that's pretty much it. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you later.